Hello, this is my multicultural education cultural snapshot final presentation. My name is Samantha Duarte Felix. This is for my TLS 412 class. So this is my research question that I based my project upon, and this was mostly based on how I was interested in the culture of Colombia. So, how do cultural differences in Colombia influence social behavior and religious diversity in educational and community settings? So, from the beginning of the course, before even taking this course, multicultural education to me was learning about the foods, the traditional customs, the culture of the people of different countries. And so I thought it was quite simple as when I was taught in public education here in Tucson, Arizona, that exploring a different culture means getting to try the different foods, getting to meet people of the culture and them explaining to us their childhood, the places that they live, the attractions that they've seen, and getting us really motivated to go and travel to the place that they are from. So, this is now my understanding of the socio-political context of multicultural education. So, by reading the Affirming Diversity textbook that we have here, I learned that multicultural education is more than meets the eye. And I thought it was quite interesting that it's not always all about, the foods, the culture. It's in the context of a multicultural way in a sociopolitical way. By this, it's all about the practices, the traditions, the ideologies, and it's all like socially and not biologically determined in the terms of sociopolitical. So we understand this as an effort to reduce educational inequalities that are happening in the school system and teaching students that there are ways to improve and preparing students like to participate in our society. And here we learn about, throughout the textbook, we learn about equal versus equitable education, which I believe I also learned before in my other classes. And I remember seeing this picture, and with equal equality, it's the same resources for all students, which means that not every student is the same, exactly as is said, and you have to sometimes recognize that everybody's different and they all come from different backgrounds. So this is not equitable for each student. And here we have equity, which is more on the equitable side, where we have a more tailored way of education, where you have resources for each individual student's needs in your classroom, but still being able to accommodate to the curriculum and being able to give the students the basic needs that they all need to be successful in your classroom and the education learning system. So here, it's not quite helping many students, and here you're helping all students. So, in social justice support and multicultural education, we can see this as having professors, having counselors, people who think in a more inclusive way. And this helps think and reflect on what one's person has learned and just applying that into the learning to real situations that happen in the classroom. So here we can be more inclusive and understand that, yes, people are different, but being able to have this sort of agency to be relevant and value others people's needs and acknowledge that everybody's different. And of course, we may have our own biases, but we need to learn how we can be able to be more inclusive to everybody. And from my interview with Mariana from Colombia, I learned many things. I learned that Colombia is culturally diverse in its own way, but at the same time, it's quite a tight-knit community themselves. And from this, I learned that Colombia is very much religious focused on their society, and many of them follow in the footsteps of their parents. And one thing I remember through the education system is that they are taught a curriculum where it is mostly traditional. So mostly everything in Colombia, along with the families, is very much traditional. And it's more not so inclusive to everybody. It's not quite equitable, but in universities, we're starting to see that that is changing, that it's becoming more equitable due to students' voices and being a new generation that is able to voice what their needs are. So having that type of agency really does help the student population and professors alike. Mariana also came to the US and is able to see many differences from the multicultural context. So it is quite shocking to her the difference of the education system from Colombia from the US. So I got a lot of insight on that end, aside from the interview that we continued outside, talking more about the social issues that are taking place in Colombia and how they're still learning to become better, become more inclusive and more diverse, and just being on the train of changing, changing for the better, changing for the upcoming generations that are coming by, and how she doesn't want people to view Colombia in such a bad light. She wants people to give Colombia a chance. That is something that stood out to me. And I'm quite excited to learn more about Colombia and learn more about different people and their countries and their culture and how they operate in this multicultural education system. And that's all I have for now. Thank you so much.